Continuing on the outside of the bus, I want to take another look at the windshield wipers. Yes, we did check them from the inside. We know that the wipers actually work and the window washer worked well, but I also want to take a closer look just to make sure that the wiper blade is not torn or shredded or coming apart, and that it is in good condition. And I can see that this one is. I can also check the second one over here by running my fingers along the blade, again, to make sure it's not torn or coming apart in any fashion. I also want to look at the hose that goes in for the window washer. I check it here at this entry port. I also check it out here where it exits from the bus and make sure that it's not kinked or deteriorated in any way, cracked, but is in good working condition. And that one certainly appears to be, as does this one. And back here, it's connected. So the window washer, we know the washer works, and all the connecting hoses appear to be in good condition. Continuing down now to the bumper itself, I want to make sure that the bumper is tight, is latched properly. There's no need to open the bumper, but we all know that the spare tire fits in behind the bumper, and I would point that out to the examiner that that's where the spare tire is located. And you're just checking to make sure that the bumper is secure, and it appears to be. Now, on the driver's side, I'm going to check the traffic monitoring device from outside. Again, we checked the lens in the glass inside to make sure that it was in good condition. We want to check the hood to make sure the hood is not broken and is securely fastened. Also, the support arm here comes down and is attached to the side of the motor coach right at this point. There are 4 attachment screws, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. I want to make sure that they're threaded in all the way and that there is a good solid mount here for my mirror. I would do exactly the same check on the other side of the bus for the right or door side mirror. Driver's side of the bus, I am looking into the storage area right below the driver window. And what I want to check in here is the window washer fluid. This tank is mounted securely, as I can tell, to the bus frame. I'm also looking to see if there's any fluid running out the bottom, which would indicate a leak to the tank. I do not see a leak. Everything looks good. And the tank is about 60% filled. So there is an adequate amount of window washer fluid in the tank. Also in this storage area, which we already talked about, were the red reflective triangles. So they are still sitting right here where they are stored. They are one of the 3 emergency pieces of equipment that we need to have on board. Okay, moving one step further to the front axle of the motor coach. I am, first of all, as I approach this area, I will look into the underneath carriage to see if there's any fluid that might be dripping down, anything leaking in there, and I do not see anything. I'm also listening for any air pressure, any air leaks. I've got a hose coming out here for the air brakes. I also have my suspension, which is an air ride suspension. So I want to listen for any air leaks. And I would do this exact same procedure at all 4 of the wheel wells around the bus. Now, underneath and as I look into the bus, underneath the bus frame, all the way in to the center is really the first place I get a chance to see the unibody construction. And I'm looking in there to see if there's anything that may have come apart, any welds that may not be holding, anything that would be abnormal with respect to the frame, and I do not see anything. Also, starting at the center now and working towards the outside, I know in the center is the steering gearbox and the steering shaft. Connected to that area are the hoses with the power steering fluid. If I could see them, and I can't, but if I could, I would check to make sure that those hoses are in good condition and the couplings are tight, and that there is no steering fluid leaking out of any of those hoses or connections. Working my way out, then I would also take a look at the A-arm. I'm looking at the tie rod, also the pitman arm, and closer to me here is the steering knuckle. I want to make sure that there are nothing coming apart, nothing that would be a problem. Make sure that it's all connected. I also want to make sure that the linkage is not loose. I want to make sure the connections are not cracked or worn or leaking. I want to do a visual check for anything abnormal, such as missing nuts or bolts or cotter keys or castle nuts. I think we can see a castle nut right inside here, which has a cotter pin in it. And that is set up exactly the way it should be. I will also inspect the connecting links, arms, and rods from the wheel to make sure they are not worn or cracked, and the joints and sockets are not worn or out of center. Okay. Now moving out to the outer side, we come to the tire, and on the tire, minimum acceptable tread depth is 4 30-seconds on the front. It is 2 30-seconds on the rear. I want to check the overall condition of the tire. Is it wearing evenly from side to side? Do I have any bulges in the side wall of the tire on the inside as well as on the outside? I want to look for any cuts or any form of damage to the side wall. These tires cannot be regrooved or recapped. That is illegal. And Elite does not use recapped or regrooved tires on the front or on the rear of the bus. Now, I also want to check the valve stem, and the valve stem is right here. So I want to make sure it's not broken, it's not cracked, it's not bent, and that it has a cap, a valve stem cap on, which you can see it does. The tire pressure in these tires is between 110 and 120 psi. I have a tire pressure gauge with me, and I would be happy to check the tire pressure if you would like. Now, continuing on to the rims. Here is the wheel or the rim. I want to look for any damage here. And I do not see any damage all the way around the rim. That looks good. The rim cannot have any, I don't want to see any cracks or dents in the rim. The wheel cannot have weld repairs. Weld repairs to the wheel are illegal. I also want to look at the lug nuts at this point. These are the lug nuts that are under these caps, and these are simply lug nut covers or caps that are over them. But as I look in here, I want to do my best to see if there are any signs of looseness, such as rust trails or shiny threads. I also want to make sure that none of these lug nut bolts are missing, that there is one in every spot, which there are. And I also want to make sure that none of these are making the hole in the wheel oblong, so that it would have a vibration as a result of that not fitting securely and tight. Now, looking underneath again, briefly, we will look at the suspension. This is an air ride suspension. It does not use coil springs or leaf springs. Everything is, the suspension is totally air ride and with shock absorbers. So I want to look in there and make sure that that air bag, which I can see, is not worn, is not damaged in any way, is securely fastened at the top and at the bottom. And then also the shock absorber, which is next to it. I want to make sure that it is secured properly. And I want to look to see if there's any fluid or any liquid that would be coming out of that shock absorber. And I do not see any right behind the wheel. And then one other area is the brake system. This is the brake chamber right behind the wheel. I can't look into the brake chamber, therefore I cannot see the rotors, the lining, or the brake pads. All of that is not visible to me. I do want to inspect the line coming in here. This is the air line. I want to make sure that that is tight and that there are no damage to the air line itself. This black wire cable that you see takes the reading of the brake pads electronically to the dashboard. So I can look and see on the dashboard what the thickness is of the brake linings. Okay. And yeah, I would be happy to show that to you if you would like on the dashboard. And then finally, I also want to inspect this area for any contaminants, such as debris, oil, or grease that would negatively affect the braking system. I want to make sure it's free of any of those materials, grease or oil or debris.
For watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.